Hello, y'all, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Anti Filter podcast. I'm your host, Alison,
And I'm your host, Shannon.
and today we are going to be talking about, we're going to be doing our weekly catch up, but I think we're going to be talking about like friendship breakups a little bit.
Yes.
Um, so for the weekly catch up, it's been a wild week. So I've talked about it before on this podcast, like those like beautiful baby girls at my gym that are like so beautiful, so sweet, so gorgeous, such stunning queens. Um I was talking to one of them the other day and I saw that she got baptized recently and I was like, "Oh my god, you got baptized." I was like, I saw it, it looked like a beautiful little moment. Congratulations. Like that's so awesome. And she was like, "Yeah." And we started kind of talking about religion and she's Christian. And I was baptized Catholic at like 7 years old per my request, but I was at like a little Catholic school, so I just wanted to fit in. But I kind of had like a moment a few years ago where I felt really lost and I wanted something to believe in, but there wasn't anything that I really connected with well. So we kind of started talking about religion and I was just kind of interested. I like learning. I wanted to hear her perspective. So I was like, yeah, like, we talked a little bit at the gym between sets and then, she said, "Yeah, like I'd love to send you my testimony or whatever it's called." I don't know, like it was basically talking about um how she, I guess, like found God and her experiences with it. So she sent it to me. I read it and I felt like there was a lot of like it kind of like mirrored how I felt a little bit to an extent, So we're talking and I was like, "Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Like, that's very kind of you. I appreciate it." And she's like, "If you ever want to talk, like, let me know." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we ended up going for a walk the next morning. And I always make the joke. I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to go for a hike and find God." I literally went for a hike to try to find God, bitch. So I met up with her. We go to get coffee. I swear to God, every single coffee shop hates me because I always get a nice coffee. I ask for no ice, and then I ask for a separate cup with ice because why the fuck am I spending fucking $10 on a fucking coffee and getting all ice? No, the fuck not, bitch. Anyway, so we're sitting down, we're talking, and she's very chill. Like she is probably one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my entire life. And she actually did my lashes yesterday. I don't know if you can see. But anyway, we're talking and she actually like wrote down a list of like I guess like Bible verses for me. I found it very sweet, very kind. Um and I don't know, it was very interesting. I had a plan to go to church with her and a couple of the other like beautiful sister queens from the gym. And last minute I ended up canceling because like for me, like I don't really go places. Like for me, like Costco is a fucking mission. So I am not gonna do well. Another thing too is that when I was a child, I had pretty bad OCD and it actually began in church. And it was like, I don't know. Also, the church air is always so stale. Like, why don't you open a fucking window, bitch? One. Two, I had OCD and then I started, once I like kind of talked to her about it, I started having these very like obsessive religious thoughts. And there is also a lot of things within that religion that I just don't feel connected to that I don't think are okay. And I think everybody has their own kind of interpretation or like way of practicing that best suits their lifestyle. But I don't know, there are just things that I don't necessarily agree with and I have a really hard time. Like we talked about some very interesting things. Like cuz I said to her I'm like, I religion satire is my favorite brand of humor. I absolutely love it. I think it's really funny like being like, "Oh, like God is good all the time." And I'm just like, "But God isn't." We had very serious conversations and I was like, "God isn't good all the time." Or God doesn't give anything that we can't handle. And I'm like trying to make arguments for it, but I'm also thinking, okay, God doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. And yet, like, I'm fucking suicidal every single day for over a decade. I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. Like, I'm dealing with fucking autism, with BPD. Like, major depression, like all my fucking plethora of mental health diagnoses. And but I'm also trying to argue the God side of being like, well, it's nothing I can't handle because yeah, I'm still here. But it's just, I don't know. It was very interesting. She is quite possibly the nicest, sweetest fucking human on the planet. But I just don't think that is kind of the route for me. But it was interesting. It was
Yeah.
very interesting. And it's always funny. And I was talking to her about it yesterday when we were doing our, like, when she was doing my lashes. And it's always funny because you make these assumptions off of someone, like off of your perception of somebody that isn't based in reality. Like I made assumptions about her off of her social media that wasn't based in reality because that's the version people like present to the world of themselves, and it just doesn't really line up with how she is as a person necessarily. And she's just like the sweetest, kindest person. And I don't, when I think of people who are like diehard Christians, she's not somebody who I picture. And she's very non judgmental and very chill. And it just made it kind of just opened my eyes to realize that, like, m- just because I think of everything as somebody who's borderline very black and white, that like religion doesn't have to be this very all or nothing thing. You can, to a degree, pick and choose things that work for you. But I don't know if it's something that's necessarily for me, but it was interesting.
But I was going to say, I know a lot of people end up having religious trauma, right? So some part of their identity doesn't kind of mesh with their religious beliefs and it creates this cognitive dissonance. And I think for a lot of us who are, neurodivergent, not neurotypical, not straight, right? Like a lot of that doesn't align so hot
Yeah.
with religion, especially going back to the whole like, well, God only gives us things he can handle. Bitch, the way my life has been, I mean, I went through it too. Like, I was very angry with whoever existed up there. Like, why the fuck are
Yeah.
you giving me this life? I can't stand it.
Yep.
But I think too, like, I'm in a place of life now where, like, does it suck? Do I hate my life sometimes? Yes, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, right? So, but I think it's very interesting because, like, I know that you had like literally brought them up on either like a couple episodes ago, and you're like, I think
Yeah.
they're so cool. And then like you were like, oh my God, I'm going to church with her. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you manifested this.
No, literally. No, like, and it's also, it's funny too cuz that podcast I think came out yesterday, and I had told her, "Oh my god, like I actually talked about you on the podcast." I was going to clip it. I think I did clip it. I don't think I posted it though, but it's just this constant thing of like being autistic and finding so many people cool and just thinking like you're never cool enough to become friends with them, and like here we are. Um but it's interesting because she is neurodivergent, but her like friends aren't. And it's interesting because when I have talked to her friends at the gym, it's very like kind of surface level conversations. How was your weekend? How was the weather? I saw that you posted on Instagram that you went to the cottage, like, shit like that. But with her, like, I find that with neurodivergent people, like, it's not even necessarily, well, we do trauma dump, but like it's always very like intense conversations. You jump back and forth, and it was good because she is also ADHD. So like our conversations were very like forgetful, jumping back and forth. Like it was very, the vibe was high. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's interesting. But it just goes to show you that, like, I think that we do know this, and this is something that I struggle with because I try to like project how my life is actually going online. But like it just goes to show you, it's like another reminder always that for the majority of people, like Instagram is a highlight reel, and you don't see the struggles that people go through because like Ms. Girl has been through the ringer.
Yeah.
Like it's just, life is hard, it's challenging, and it makes me happy that some people are able to find comfort in religion and like find God. I just don't think that that's something that I'm capable of doing. And I wish that I could just, but yeah, I don't know.
let me ask you this. Are you like, would you classify yourself as atheist where you don't believe like anything's out there at all? Or like agnostic where you like think something's out there, but you're just not sure?
I don't know. I think it's like it's kind of like bordering on both. Like
Yeah.
I think that I do believe in souls. I think that souls are recycled. Some people are older, some people are younger. My dad is a new soul because he's a fucking cunt bitch and he obviously just doesn't get it.
She said this is his first go round at all of
No,
this. So
this is his first time on earth because guess what? Mr. Man has not learned any life lessons and well, he has learned life lessons, but it's funny how just men are just incapable of taking responsibility for anything.
yeah, I find that that's a very common theme.
Yeah, it's I mean, hashtag not all men, but you know.
Look, the ones that do, y'all are rare and far in between. And
Yeah. Well, like
yeah.
with men though, it's funny because I'm trying to like shift my audience a little bit just
Oh.
slowly to have more men and or sorry, have more women.
Oh yeah,
And
because you have a lot of your demographic is a lot of
oh
like
girly
white
pop,
right
my
wings who like to watch you burp and fart.
yeah, no, actually it's so funny. I get so many people being like, "What the hell? Where are the fucking burp videos?" And I'm just like,
I'm
"Did I
like,
ever
did you start a kink? Did you genuinely start a whole new kink?
did I ever tell you that I went into my tagged videos on Instagram and somebody went through every single YouTube video of mine and created a burp compilation?
That's insane. But also depending on how many views you have on that video, you deserve financial compensation.
There's like barely any views on the video, but yeah,
That's
I do
shocking
just
because there's literally like about 8 dudes on every video being like, "Where are the burps?"
no. Are there?
Yes, girl.
Oh, I don't really I try to like I as I've said before, like I try to engage in the first like 10 minutes and then I try to kind of lay off of it because
Yeah.
it's just so bad for my mental health, but Jesus fucking Christ, like it's yeah, it's just it's so it's so weird cuz like you know, I'll make like I literally made a video and I was like question for the girls cuz one of my clients literally was like she messaged me and she was like my boyfriend cheated on me. And then well, he didn't end up it was I'm not going to get into it, but basically I went online and I was like question for the girlies, like have you ever had a good experience with a man? Just curious. And I said in the comments, if you have, share your good experiences cuz I'm losing hope here. I'm losing hope girly
Facts.
pop. And literally so many men were like not all men are bad. There are good men out there. I'm a nice guy. And it's just like all the men that are saying hashtag not all men. I'm a nice guy. I know that you have several allegations against you, bitch.
I think too, any man that like anytime I've said like all men, right? Like I've just been like they all suck,
Yeah.
right? The ones who
It,
are probably like really decent, they usually hit me up and they're like, "No, like you're so right. They fucking suck, and like I hate this for women." And da da da. That's the point they take, not the.
yeah.
But I'm a nice guy.
And
Okay, okay, Chad,
it's always like, okay, if you're taking this as a shot to you, that speaks volumes, baby girl.
baby, if the shoe fits,
If the shoe fits, and
shoe
you know
fucking
what?
fits.
It does, and it's always a size fucking 7 men. Sorry, my feet are bigger than you. I've got big dick energy, bitch.
She said, "Now suck it."
You used to have a Catholic bestie, yeah?
I did, yes. I left my phone in the other room, so this will be fun. But
I
um,
have the notes. It's okay.
say less. Her name was Rachel. God bless her. Me and her were going through some tough times together, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But okay, so I don't know if you know much about Catholic families, but like generational Catholics,
Mm.
they don't believe like generational wise, like after generation and generation and generation, and they're all Catholic. They do not believe in birth control, even if you're
Yeah.
married and stuff. So um they ended up having Rachel very late, and all of her siblings were like 36 and we were like 16. Yes.
Oh.
So like poor Miss Rachel, her family just kind of was like, "Look, you're the sixth. We're kind of over it. Good luck." And we kind of got thrown to the wolves. Like we used to throw parties at her freaking house. She had like a huge mansion. We'd throw parties. We would work for a catering business through the church with her mom. And we would like do the cleanups at weddings and like funerals, and like we'd steal all the wine. Like we were being hellions. Like I'm not gonna lie. We definitely needed to be in
Okay.
confession. But But no, she literally was like my all-time bestie in high school. Like I would have not gotten through my dad being diagnosed with cancer if it weren't for that bitch. She had an uncle who ended up passing away due to cancer. So like me and her were like real tight, real close, and
Yeah,
doing hellion things.
as God
But
intended.
we used to go to church like still hungover and like still like low-key drunk with her family on Sundays.
That's so fun though.
It was a
I
good time.
always I always had like a vision when I was like doing cocaine a lot when I was still a drug addict, and I was like, I really just want to like go snort lines in church off a Bible. Like that was I was something I felt like I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
I did not do that, and thank God.
She said, you know,
But like friendship breakups are so challenging.
girl, having BPD, friendship breakups are the fucking worst.
I so like I've talked about my ex-best friend before on here, and I was actually driving this morning thinking about it because every single time that I see, I think it's like a Toyota Corolla, I forget what fucking black car she drives. Anyway, whenever I leave my house and I see that car, I'm always looking to see if it's her. And for months, like, because she used to live in the apartment next to mine, like, we shared a
Yeah.
fucking load bearing wall, bitch. Anyway, so I would always, like, for months, I didn't really think about her too much. And now I think about her so much. I do see her. Like, I frequently, because I look at the cars and I do
Yeah.
see her frequently. And I know that she was also seeing the neighbor on the other side. And him and I had chatted together, and she was just like he was like, I had to put a boundary down with her to stop talking about you because she talked about you all the time, and it just made me so sad. And I was talking to Lily, the girl who did my lashes yesterday, and we were kind of talking about friendship breakups too, and it's hard to be in either position where you're either the friend who does want the friendship to continue, or you're in the power position where you have the power to choose if you do want to pursue friendship again. But like that friendship for me, I was thinking about it. I was driving this morning and I was thinking because my previous ex best friend of we were best friends on and off for like 12 or 13 years. I loved her. However, my most recent ex best friend, we were best friends for maybe like 6 months. And honestly, I love her, love more than any friend I think I've ever had. And breaking up with her as a friend twice was like such a hard decision, but here's the thing, like she reminded me of me before I got sober, and we had matching mental health issues. Like I think the only thing that she didn't have was the fucking autism. I think she had ADHD, she had BPD like a motherfucker, like ED in recovery, like. And dude, when you have two BPD friends, it's I just need to side note the fact that I was texted you last night because I was on the phone with my mom and I told her about the fact that you were coming to see me. What did I literally texted you line by line things that she was saying. She literally was like, oh, I said, oh yeah, Shannon's coming and we're gonna like hang out and she's gonna come here for a few days. We'll record podcasts and whatever. Like she's gonna stay with me. She's like, oh, are you gonna share a bed? And I said, yeah, the king. Yeah, we're gonna share a bed. And she says, oh, are you gonna make out? And I said, no.
Your
And
mom
she
was like,
said, she said, well, you're both pansexual. I don't know if you're pan. I think you're bi. I don't know. I'm not
I'm
sure.
basically pan at this
Yeah.
point. I
And I was
originally
like,
thought bi, but pan.
yeah. And I was like, okay, just because you've got two fucking bisexual pan girlies in a room doesn't mean they're gonna make out.
Listen, I will say this. I don't know what it is about, like, this is a complete side note, but I think most people who don't identify as like any kind of queer,
Yeah.
they be thinking that we're some fucking freaks. And don't get me wrong.
We are freaks.
I am a freak.
Yeah.
I am a part of the freak community.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean every like pan,
No.
bi, queer girly is gonna be a freak. Or
No.
they
And
also
like,
assume that we're like polyamorous. They love to assume that like we're happy to be unicorns or happy to be added into like a throuple situation.
oh no.
And that is not the case,
No.
bitch.
No, because the reality of being a bi or a pan girl on a dating app is, oh, looking for a third, looking for a unicorn emoji, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not here to spark up your fucking failing marriage because you're upset, you want to fuck another girl, and your girlfriend's upset that you're cheating,
I'm
but
also not
it's
the one because I will, in fact, steal your fucking bitch.
didn't you do that? Or no, is that someone else? No, that's someone else.
I was about to say, I have not yet to do that. Thinking
No.
about it, but
Thinking about it.
thinking
No,
about it.
I don't know what we were talking about friendship. Yeah, but like it's but I do love this friend I did love this friendship because it allowed me to grow so much as a human being because I saw so much of myself in her and like peace and love to her, flaws that I had that I needed to take care of. And we've talked about it before on this podcast of trying to learn how to self-regulate and trying to find the balance between self-regulating and completely like isolating to the point where you don't share anything and your friends actually just don't know what's going on. But it's enabled me to be a better friend because one of the things that my ex best friend Tor used to tell me is like she felt like it was always about me. And I left no, not me trying to fucking grab a fruit fly. And I like she felt like I left no space in the relationship for her. And while I don't think that I was doing that intentionally, I was just the entire time that we were friends, like I was on a daily basis, not unlike now, going through it, but so, like so much more significantly. It's hard to navigate friendships. Like it's so much easier to just be alone. I like as soon as I start having like more friends, it's like there's always just I don't know, like like I don't know. It's just there's I'm not like I don't really like my life is chaotic enough. Like I don't need drama to that degree.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like so like for as long as I could remember, like friendships were really hard for me.
Yeah,
Like whether it was keeping them, making them, like establishing them, maintaining them, all like when it came to interpersonal relationships, specifically friendships, I had a really fucking hard time from like a very young age all the way pretty much through college. And then when I was diagnosed with BPD, obviously shit made a lot of fucking sense.
yeah,
Because I've lost a lot of friendships due to my own fucking bullshit.
yeah,
But I've also lost a lot of friendships because their bullshit I can't deal with being BPD.
yeah,
Right. So, and like some of those people have come back in my life. Like I have a very long time friend of like 14 years now. We've been friends since we
yeah,
were in middle school. And me and her had this like whole falling out because I was fucking my life up. Like there was no other way to put it. Like I was letting my life fall to pieces.
yeah.
And she did not want to like be there for it, watching it anymore. And I don't blame her for that at
No.
all. And we, rekindled and whatnot. But even then, like now that I've been diagnosed, now that I'm living I'm living a whole different lifestyle than when we
Yeah,
were friends. Like when we were friends, I had just graduated and I was looking for a job in public health.
yeah.
I'm in such a different place now that like it's very hard to, and I know you relate to this, it's so hard to maintain relationships already on top of being BPD. Add in the content creation and being a coach, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm struggling out here. I'm glad my clients are basically my friends because I'm like, that's
Same.
about all I see throughout the week.
No, same. And it's I also do struggle with like maintaining friendships as well, but it's BPD is so it's just really hard to deal with, but like it got to the point where with this friendship, it was like I think sometimes like when you're still in the well, I'm not gonna like I can't really I don't know if I can blame it on like addiction, but when you're like when you're in addiction, you're a different person, right?
Yes.
That being said, I don't know if I could I don't know. All I know is like it was getting to the point where and we've talked about this too before. When you have women in your life that are that have their whole lives centered around male validation, holy fuck, one, draining, two, dangerous.
Yep.
Because it got to the point where, like, she was making bad decisions that she knew was bad and combining it with other really bad decisions, and then I would have to do things like work. And at that point, I was working literally 10 hours a day. Like, I would wake up in the morning at 7 a.m. every fucking day and be on my laptop and do content creation. And I'd do it until I got to the gym. I'd go to the gym for 3 hours. I'd fucking come home and I'd do more content creation until like 10 o'clock at night. Like, I was fucking grinding at that point. And, uh, she would come over. I remember this one time specifically. And I'm the type of friend where I think when I first enter friendships, I'm just so excited, so happy to be there that I give so much. And at the beginning of this friendship, I hadn't done I had no job. I was living off like $11,000 in savings. All I was doing was training 20 hours a week. I didn't start content creation, nothing. So when she was going through all this shit, every time she would have like a bad day or she was at work and she hadn't eaten, I'd run to McDonald's, I'd go get her food, I'd bring her food at work. Like, anything she needed, I was there. So I think it felt like in the beginning, I wouldn't say like love bombing because I'm not a narcissist, but it was like I was so there for her. And then when I started content creation, I knew like, okay, this is what I want to do. If I want to get paid to do this, I have to treat it like it's my job. And I remember one night she came over and I think it was like New Year's or whatever. Her and I hung out like New Year's Eve a little bit. Like, she came over for like, I don't know, maybe an hour. I could be wrong. And then she ended up going out and something happened that night where she made a poor decision. And she comes to me the next day. She's fucking crying. She wants to fucking die. And I had so much I had to do that next day. And I had to put everything on hold and take care of her. And it was fucking horrible because it's like, it's one thing if you're actively trying to make your life better and then you're doing all this shit and you're trying hard and you're still feeling very suicidal, like, I'm gonna be there for you. But it was like every fucking day, all these fucking breakdowns. And then on top of it, like, communicating so fucking mean, like sending me such mean fucking heinous ass shit. And I'm like at the gym trying to get like a fucking break from her. And she texts me like fucking 7, 8 times in a row. And I'm like, I'm literally just trying to train. Like, I remember the first time I put boundaries down with her, it was not fucking taken well, bitch.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't
I'm
sound like
like,
it was.
well, it got to the point where I was having fucking panic attacks at the gym every single time she texted me. And I was like, friendships are not supposed to be like this. And
Right.
there's, as I said before, there's a very big difference between you actively trying to improve your life and not making fucking bad decision after bad decision after bad decision and still going through it versus how the fuck am I going to feel bad for you if you're making all these shitty decisions. Because you know what, I would give her the same fucking advice every single day. You can only give the same advice so often to somebody who's literally just destructive.
Yeah.
And I say this and I love her so much. Breaking up with her was one of the toughest decisions because I broke up with her and I would see her because we lived next door, and I'd see her and I would like cry and I was upset, and we finally like kind of came back into each other's lives. It was like obviously nothing had changed.
Yeah.
You know, I became friends with her because it seemed like she kind of was back on track. And when I first met her, I saw who she was like projecting herself to be, which was like, she's a very hard worker. She works very hard. So, like, a hard worker, somebody who has lots of goals, and like, she did have all these things, but it's really hard to be friends with somebody who's goal oriented, but their daily action steps don't line up with their goals.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say too, like even when you were bringing up the like whole addiction, like me and my friend or like now roommate Caitlin,
Yeah.
God, I love that bitch. We're talking about this the other night where like a lot of us have friends that have been in our lives for a long time, but like
Mhm.
almost have like fizzled out in a way, like where we don't like we're not really friends anymore because like me and her about that self-growth mindset, like fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not like my whole mindset is improving myself 1% every day.
Yeah.
Like if I can do 1% better than I did yesterday,
Yeah.
I would call myself successful. And obviously a lot of that comes from getting into fitness, but a lot
Yeah.
of it comes from also having to pick yourself up by the bootstraps because you don't have anybody else to do it for you. Unfortunately, and I know you get this, there's like hyper independent BPD girlies and then there's non hyper independent BPD girlies. Like you either have like hyper independence where you self isolate and you deal with all your shit on your own because you don't want to be a burden,
Yeah.
or you have like no perception on like the fact that you're stressing out everyone that you love and know
Yeah.
because you just constantly like trauma dump and constantly like anytime something's wrong you can't regulate so you call. And
Yeah.
I've been both friends. I'm the
Same.
first to admit I
Hmm.
have been fucking both, bitch.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but my BPD was worse when I was the bitch who was sitting there like constantly regulating on someone else
Yeah.
than when I was able to, okay, I feel really shitty right now. I feel really fucking awful and I want to die. I'm
Hmm.
going to just text someone that I love and care about and just say like, how's your day going? Or like,
Yeah.
sometimes I know I'll text you and I'll be like, hey, like, I just want to say I'm like really proud of you.
Yeah.
Not always because I'm in a low, but because
Oh no, I didn't
it
know that.
allows me to like reach out to my friends and know that they're there
Okay.
without
Yeah.
absolutely throwing off whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
So I get the reassurance and I get the love that
Yeah.
I'm looking for, but without the sobbing on the phone and ranting and just making my emotional dysregulation worse.
That's interesting. Well, it's funny because I reached out to you last night briefly because I was in a fucking mood. I was so mad last night, but it is. Oh, sorry. Pork chop is like trying to fuck with the gain on the.
He said,
He said, actually, I want you to be quiet, mom. I'm trying to have a nap.
he said,
Um,
fuck up.
no, well, it's hard too, right? And people can be nasty. Like I remember with her, I was like, I'm working. And she was like, but you don't have a job. And I was like, yes. She's like, social media isn't a job. And I was like, babe, if I'm trying to fucking get this shit done. And you know what? For somebody who had 2,000 followers, 8 months, nine.
Brother, I don't like that at all. I'm not going
Well,
to lie to
she,
you.
here's the thing. She would say such mean things, but she is an incredible person. And
Yeah.
you she is going to like it makes me want to cry because I love her so deeply. Like
No.
she is such a beautiful light, but she was not capable of seeing it. And she's still in that stage of really needing male validation. And when I tell you it
Also
was
been there.
no, but I when I tell you that this girl has been through some of the most horrible things from men that men could ever do to a woman, like I get it. I get it's kind of one of two ways, I think, when you've been horribly abused and raped, repeatedly, where you either develop this true hatred for hashtag not all men but the majority of men, or you just require their validation so deeply, where it just impacts everything that you do. And that was kind of the breaking point. Like she had no idea why I finally broke up with her, and it was because she was friends with the neighbor. Like she was seeing the neighbor, and I know the neighbor is one of those hashtag not all men. I love him
Gotcha.
to bits. He is a genuinely very good person. He is a healed person. He is lovely. Shout out to you, Alex. I fucking love the shit out of you. You're lovely. And he had put boundaries with her. He had stopped seeing her. He's done this several times. And she told me like she was gonna finally fucking leave him alone because I would see several fucking like I remember one time I saw in the fucking looking out the door at like 9 a.m. seeing one guy leave. 9 p.m. the next night a different guy was there. And shout out to you, Miss Girl, if you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do and like see people, or I don't know what you were doing, like whatever, that's fine. But like this man is in love with you, like he wants to have a life with you. It just really upset me and rubbed me the wrong way. And I thought that they were done. And then one night she's drinking. She shouldn't be drinking. She should not be drinking. She sends me a fucking selfie of her drunk, like kissing him. And I was so fucking angry because when someone has gone through so much shit and 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 is on a healing journey and doing their best to heal, and then you pull them back down with your bullshit, that pissed me off to the point where I was like, I don't know what the fuck I said, but I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot be friends with you. Please do not contact me ever again. Because it was like, okay, if you want to be destructive in your own life, fine. If you want to destroy the men who have destroyed you, fine. Don't care. You want to use men for validation, go off, sister queen. But don't use the one guy who is truly the best man on this entire planet. It literally pissed me off so fucking much. And that's what ended the friendship. And she doesn't know. And unfortunately, within relationships, you think that you can get closure. There's no closure. Closure doesn't exist.
It's
It's
not real.
fucking fake. And it's just so hard because I see her. I swear to God, like last week, I saw her like 3 times driving. And it's so hard because I desperately want to reach out. I desperately want to be friends with her again because she is a fucking lovely human. But I can't because it's selfish of me to pull her back in when I know things have not changed. Like, and I don't, like, listen, I don't know what the fuck she's doing in her life. But what I mean is, when you are BPD and destructive, it takes years of daily intentional work to become better. And when you're also an addict or an alcoholic, like, you don't just blow through that fast. Like,
No.
you don't just fix yourself and heal fast. Like, it's a years long process. And it just makes me so sad. Like, I literally, dude, I love her more than I've loved any human ever. Yeah, it's so hard.
I think that's one thing too that I've had to like, I think I also like wrote this in the notes where like, obviously with BPD, like you can have a lot of like weird attachment styles or things with your attachment system.
Yeah.
And so I think it was about 2 years ago. I was having a really hard time. Like I knew that I had a lot of friends in my life that shouldn't be in my life anymore. I wasn't good for them. They weren't good for me.
Yeah.
But I was having a hard time like letting those friendships go. And then when they would go, like I was having like a lot of those like suicide ideation, I'm not worthy, destructive behaviors. So I was like, I need to reframe my mindset. And I started doing a lot of research on like basically law of detachment and understanding that a lot of the times when you have an attachment issue or an attachment style issue, what's going on is your brain is trying to control. So, what I mean by that is like an anxious attachment style, right? You're
Hmm.
trying to control your anxiety, like, right? So, like, you feel anxious, you're trying to control the anxiety by like double texting your partner, asking them where they are, or whatever else. Anxious works a little bit different, or excuse me, avoidant works
Yeah.
a little bit different, where your control is the fact that you like go ghost almost. So, you kind of pull out and pull away from that's your
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
And so when you look at it that way, I realize that a lot of humans, right, especially like us who have trouble up here, which we all do, bitch. But a lot of us will tend to kind of want to control relationships and rather than looking at it from like a side of like this is an experience. So it ends up having this possession mindset of like, oh my God, you know, they're gonna abandon me, they're gonna leave me. My favorite person's gonna leave me, rather than trying to like come from it of an understanding of like we're all human. We're all on our own journey. We
Yeah.
are all individuals. And there's going to be moments in life where you guys go down different paths, right? Like people are not possessions, they're experiences.
Yeah.
And they're always going to leave, unfortunately. Like I hate to
Yeah.
break this to anybody listening, but whether they leave by choice or they leave because you've kicked them out of your life
Yeah.
or they fucking die,
Yeah.
nobody is forever. And that is a very hard lesson to learn.
It's giving hashtag people always leave Peyton, One Tree Hill. Do you know what I'm referencing?
I'm not gonna lie, I never watched One Tree Hill, and I am from the city that it was recorded in, so I know that's fucking lame. But
Oh, I did not know that. Well, basically, Miss Girl, Miss Curly Haired, Miss Perm, Blonde, Peyton, I think. She's like, people always leave. And then she draws like a comic book thing and it's like a red light and or a green light. People, I don't know, whatever. But people do always leave. And like that's the thing too, I think with BPD is like I'm always ready to have people leave and we're always ready to leave other people. But I don't know, detachment is hard, especially when you're trauma bonded to somebody and you feel such a close personal like deep connection with them. But dude, like it's so funny because you talk about like there's like that thing on TikTok or whatever the fuck months ago where it's like if you ask men like what do they think about all the time, and it's like, oh, I think about the Roman Empire like 3 times a day. And you ask women and it's like, what do you think about? And it's like your ex-best friend.
Yeah, no, literally. I mean, that whole year that me and my friend Lori were not like close, it was fucking tough. I'm not gonna lie. And I had even said to like other friends, I was like, she'll hit me up, like she'll come back. Like we've just been friends for too long for her to not. But I
Yeah.
told them straight up, like it's gonna take her going through some shit herself and some serious shit for her to be like, wow, Shannon was crazy, but also valid. Homegirl gets it. And like I hate to say that, especially being friends with neurotypical people. Sometimes they just don't go through enough trauma to get you, babes.
They don't. And that's another thing too is I know as somebody who is an addict, right, that there's only I also knew that breaking up with her as a friend was doing her a service because sometimes you have to lose everything and everybody around you to pick yourself up.
That was me. So yes. I mean, I had to I'm not gonna lie, like it took Lori telling me that she did not want to be my friend after she had picked me up from an acid trip. I was at the hospital and I ran from 8 cops. It took 8 cops to tackle me down to the ground. Like picture this. I am in a bright red bikini running through the halls of the hospital in bright yellow Crocs, screaming at the top of my lungs. And I was cracked out of my mind. And I guess she was my like in case of emergency number, thank God. And her and her boyfriend had to come get me and then like stay on suicide watch because we were on the 3rd floor and I kept trying to just like casually walk out the balcony like it was the front door. So
As you should. It's
she had to put
giving grow wings, fly away.
no, literally, like I was just like not on planet Earth. Like I'm pretty sure the acid that I took was laced. Because I took 6 to the tab and had this reaction. And then all the girlies that I was with, not good girlies, but I was hanging out with them. They all left me at a pool unsupervised, and the cops came and found me and took me to the hospital. So like, granted, I don't blame her for being done because same thing like you said, like she was working a 9 to 5, she was trying to get her life together,
Yeah.
and I was over here with my thumbs up my butt, like wanting to die. So I fucking get it.
I need to urinate so fast.
Go for it.
No, because the way that I am literally on my period and I have a tampon and a pad and I literally am gushing fucking blood like it's a murder scene. I literally took my tampon out, fucking blood running through my fingers. My fucking sink has like a blood clot in it. I literally shed a fucking whole human, like
Me being like, did I miscarry?
No, literally, I literally was like, did I miscarry? And then I was like, wait, I haven't been penetrated in more than 2 years. An impossible task that would be the Immaculate Conception. And that's on I
Definitely
Found God.
Catholic. She's like, no, I swear it was Jesus.
No, it was Jesus. Jesus did penetrate me, and that's what happened there.
Do you take hormone therapy? This is a very random question, but do you take hormone therapy? Like,
No,
as in like birth control?
no, but did you know that also, as a side note, this is so ADHD, did you know that Jesus and God are the same person?
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
No, that's what I was told. And the Holy
No
Spirit.
fucking way.
No, literally I was talking to Miss Lily Girl, Miss the beautiful ginger sister queen baby, the most
She's
beautiful
a
girl.
ginger?
She's
That's
a
so hot.
ginger. Her
Sorry,
hair, her hair is like literally down to her belly button. She is such a beautiful, oh my god, no, but she literally
puts whole mic in mouth, just
we're literally
terrible.
sitting there and she's like, she's so cute, but she knows I love religion satire, but she's saying things unironically.
Yeah.
And she's like, coffee and Jesus with views. And I'm just like, coffee and Jesus with views. And I, Because we're like literally in a park. It's beautiful. And she's like, oh, like, what a morning, like coffee and Jesus with views. And I said, and the light just shines as she's talking about God, the light's just shining down on her. And I'm like, wow, it's giving God is here. God is here with us now. But no, she literally was like, yup. She said, ready to have your mind blown? And I said, I'm ready. Give it to me. Give it to me straight, girl. And she said, God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit, all one person. And I said, how does that work, babe? Because we know that Jesus is the Son of God. And she's like, he came back as himself. And I was like, mind blown. I don't get it still.
I don't get it either, but
I don't get it either. But no, I love her. And it's so funny because she's so non-judgmental, because I love religion satire. It's my favorite brand of humor. I think it's so fucking funny, but it's also hard because I think like when you take something so seriously and people kind of make a mockery out of it, it can be really testing. But she's just, yeah, she's the most like non-judgmental person.
I think too there's a huge difference, right? Because you'll meet, like, this is like a girly like Rachel. Like, there's something about that atheist slash agnostic and Catholic friend duo. Like, it is a unmatchable duo. It's a
Yeah.
fucking great time.
Yeah.
I've never felt so loved by a family, by people in my life than that family. Now, granted, they were a little bit right edge, we'll call it. Like, if
Yeah.
they knew I was pan, bisexual, whatever you want to call it, I
Boo. No
yeah, like,
family dinner for you. Family
yeah, no,
dinner
they
revoked.
pissed. Like, when I showed up with my tattoos,
Oh,
they said that they were going to go out to the shed and get a flame torch and burn them off my body. Love you, Mama Dudes, but but also
what
like
is so bad with tattoos?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. But like still would I mean obviously like they came to my dad's funeral, like they were literally all there. They literally were like, we fucking love you. Like as much as they were hee hee ha ha and like we're gonna burn them off your body, it was like they don't love me any less, if that makes sense.
They don't love you any less, but they will cause bodily harm and they will cause third-degree burns as God intended.
But no, I mean, she was joking. She would never take a blowtorch to my leg. God bless her. But with the same token, like I think too, like I do the same thing. Like I have a lot of clients who are religious, or had a lot of clients. They did not transfer over with me. Probably will hit them up because they probably will end up transferring with me. But I had a lot of like religious clients, and there for a while I used to like pretend to also be religious because I felt very uncomfortable in stating that I was not religious. And then
Oh.
I basically, closer to like me leaving, I was like, yeah, I'm actually like not super religious. I don't like to judge anybody's religion or make someone feel unsafe about talking about their religion.
Yeah.
But like I laid it on them that I basically like believe in the universe and like I believe in like a higher power, but I just don't put a name on it. So like
Yeah.
for example, obviously being a witchy bitchy, I believe in like manifesting and affirmations and shit like that.
Hmm.
But if you look at religion on like a big picture scale, manifesting and prayers are just the same thing.
Yeah.
Like believing in God is just believing in the universe or believing in something, right? And I don't think really any of that is real so much as it reframes the way that you think to be a more positive mindset, which reflects into your external world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I think too, like, I do believe in manifestation to a degree, but I'm sorry, like if you wake up and you're chanting in your mirror 3 times that you're gonna be rich and then you have no action steps behind that, like you're
Correct.
not gonna nothing's gonna happen, Sister Queen.
Just saying affirmations won't do shit. It's about the work that comes in
Yeah,
with
it's
the
also about
affirmation.
believing that you can do the work and you're capable. And like,
Correct.
oh, it's just I think also now that I'm thinking about it, I just had this moment like 2 seconds ago. For people that do crave male validation like on such a deep level, I think it's just we just have daddy issues and our dads never loved us. Like my dad, that I think, or that's I think where like my issue stemmed from. But as I've like progressed and been on my little healing journey, I've learned to just not crave that in the same way. And I was talking to you about Drew's book.
Yes. Queen.
I want
Fucking love
to
her.
I just like I literally bought 2 copies of it. I'm literally looking at it right now because I have the little Kindle version,
Yeah,
and
and the
then I have the
hardcover.
hardback version. And what an intelligent, unbelievable person. And you can tell that she's very intelligent, the way that like in her comedy, I guess, because
Yeah.
she just snaps back so fast, and she can just come up with such witty things. But hearing her talk, and then also it's so funny because reading her book, it's you can I read it in her voice,
Yeah.
but her family, like from what I've gathered so far, I'm only like 20% of the way through the book according to Kindle. And it's basically kind of just like talking about her life, her family, the relationship between her parents. Like her mom was kind of like the bring home the bacon, and her dad was kind of like in a more supportive role. And it just what what's very interesting is when you have a woman who is very just kind of fuck, I don't know how to even say this, like
Independent.
yeah, when you have an independent woman, a man who's very, I believe, in his masculine is not going to be threatened by that. And it's funny because in the comment section of my like videos and stuff, like a lot of men will be like, "You're so masculine," blah 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 blah, and it's like, I'm sorry that you're such a fucking beta ass bitch that you can't handle a woman that literally can handle her own shit. You're weak. Just say you're fucking weak. Like everybody who's like, "Oh, I'm an alpha male." Every time that I see like one of these Andrew Tate fucking idealist cunt ass bitches, I'm always like, "No, you're literally so beta." Like I'm like, you're actually obsessed with men. It's giving you're a fucking gay bitch.
No, literally. I will also say I just fucking love Drew. Like ever the day that I fucking found that queen, like
No.
my whole world had changed. Like I just fucking love her. And I am someone who has really gotten to a point where I don't believe in relationships. I have no hope for ever finding one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die alone and I'm happy with that. I'm so okay with that. But her relationship does give me hope
Yep.
that they fucking exist. Like if there's one person, if there's one example that like is out there, it's fucking her.
Yep.
And it's just insane. Like I think her platform is so important, especially to women who are currently still trapped in that internalized
Misogyny.
patriarchy and
Yeah.
like misogyny, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just I think she does the Lord's work, if you will. Like if God forbid one day if I were ever to meet her, like I would literally like kiss the ground she walks on. I
No,
just
because
I would
that's
cry. Like
why.
I'm just thinking about it, I'm crying.
No, that's why I bought the second book, because I said in 2 years I'm actually going to meet her. She's going to sign it for me. But it's very interesting. She was talking in an interview, I think on a podcast recently, and she said it's so funny how men quickly will find empathy once they say something bad to me. I say it back to them, and then other men will be like, "Oh, I don't know. I forget exactly what it was, but it just reminded me. I remember, and I noticed this in a content creator who's starting to blow up, who had like no followers that I'm following now. She follows me, whatever. And I made a video about her. I think her Instagram is teacup is full. She makes like autistic gym content as well.
Oh
And
yeah.
I went through her like comment section, and in the beginning, like I kind of gave her some advice, because when I started doing content creation, I thought when first started getting hate comments, I started responding to all of them. I hope you have a great day, and I meant that shit. And I realized that being no woman in the history of the world has ever made history by being kind,
No.
by being nice. And that's the thing too. Like I thought, if I just respond with kindness, if I kill people with kindness, they'll learn. And sometimes they do, but you know what? They also don't.
No.
And sometimes it's good to like give somebody a mirror to like take a look at their fucking reflection instead of.
Yeah.
And you can do that in a variety of ways, but one thing I love about Drew is she's just like, you want to give it, like, I don't she doesn't just go on the internet just to hate on men, just to hate on men.
No.
She gives it back to people who give it to her.
Yes.
And it's like that her and I think her partner's name is Pili.
I believe so.
Yeah. Um it does give me hope as well, because it just goes to show you that there are men, and she's tall. I think she's also 6 feet. That
Yes.
also, yeah, that
Yes,
gives me
she
hope as
is.
well. Yeah, she is oh dude, like that just gives me hope as well, cuz I'm like, okay, well, I have all these fucking standards, and I'm also tall on top of it. Like if I do want a man with women or non-binary folk, I don't really give a fuck. If
Yeah.
you're a cisgender male, I want you to be taller. That's just my preference. That's just my preference. But with anybody else, I don't care like about height, but it just goes to show you that there are men out there who are willing and would like to be with a strong, independent woman. And I think those are the men who are truly in their fucking masculine energy.
I would have to agree with you. I think too, like, it's weird though, right? Because like I think I was gonna mention this earlier, where like when you got mad at your friend for basically like kind of doing her own thing, but there was someone like in her like circle that like is willing to give her everything, right? It's not only from a place of like, oh, well, you know, here's a good person, and it's very rare for you to find a good man, but it's also like this is how they get fucked up for the rest of us, bitch. Like this is how these things start happening. And you'll look at people like Pearl, for example. Like I think
Oh,
obviously
Pearl, dude, the way that Pearl decided to come for Drew literally was like, "Babe, you literally asked to fly me out to Dubai." Like, oh no, Pearl posted a photo of fucking Fiona, like Shrek and Fiona,
yep.
Fiona. What the fuck did Drew say? She was like, "I'm sorry that you like fucking your cousin and your entire bloodline is literally just like." No, it's literally, I'm sorry. Like I literally it was something to like insinuate that like she is inbred.
Yes.
And and Pearl is literally the most pick me fucking cunt of the world, and the way that even the fucking Andrew Tate ideals don't even agree with her.
Did
And
you see that she actually, and I don't know if you ended up, because when she got big, she had a partner, like they were content creator, like boyfriend and girlfriend together, and he was black. Yes. And he literally came out when she started getting big on this whole Andrew Tate shit and was like, she was never like this beforehand. I don't know what the fuck she's doing, but I'm just
what?
letting you know when I was with her, she was not like this. So everyone's been saying for I don't know how long, if you end up on like conspiracy theory TikTok, that basically it's all a sham. It's literally all for clout. It's all for clickbait. She's literally doing it all so she can just build a fucking platform.
Why
And
the
that's
fuck?
what's the saddest thing to me. That is so sad and so disgusting that I really hope one day, like everything that she spewed out of her god awful mouth really does come to bite her in the ass. Because the fact that you're setting women's rights back so much just by opening your fucking mouth.
I don't understand the concept of clout chasing. And it's so funny because there's always just like weird influencer drama that I see that luckily I'm not involved in. But like I don't really get the whole like like Reagan 777.
No.
Okay, she's this influencer. It was her birthday, and I think somebody made like a video, and it was like not an influencer event. Not that I would know that what any of these things are like, because I'll never fucking go to one. I don't think. Um, Not that I'd ever be invited, but anyway. But like, it's literally like somebody was like a plus one at her birthday, and it was like a birthday party. Like it wasn't like some sort of influencer event. It was literally just her birthday party, and she went on and she was just like talking shit about this birthday party, and then people started posting hate comments. I will go on Reagan's like TikTok today. She's like the fact that I even feel like I have to come on here and like say like don't send hate comments, like don't say weird hateful things about my personal birthday party that you weren't even like invited to. You were a plus one. Like why the fuck? What were we even talking about?
Just influencer drama.
No, but there was something before that. I
Oh,
did want
clout
to say.
chasing.
Uh, yes, yeah. Oh, okay, yes. So I find that it's so weird
It
because
is.
just make your own. Like I don't know, whatever, whatever. I personally don't get it, but there's this fucking cunt at my old gym. That's what I messaged you about. That's why I was so fucking mad last night. There is
Oh.
this guy. His name is okay. He's literally my ex co-host's ex partner. Okay,
Oh.
yeah. This man is a
Oh.
fucking 5 foot nothing oompa loompa cunt ass bitch. When I first started content creation, he said that he was looking for like a 6 foot tall gym girl to be in videos, and he wanted to like all he does like what he his all his content is like skits. It's literally just like pre-made up things that he writes out. And I was starting content creation. He had a lot of followers, and I don't know, like I didn't know anything about anything, and I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll he's looking for a tall girl to make like oh, POV, the tall girl approach, whatever. Gym content." So I was like, "Okay." So we film and record all this shit, and it's basically just like my reaction to him being like, "Hey, like can I use the bench like you're using the bench?" And I just stand up and look at him, and I'm just like, and he's literally like, he says he's 5'9", all men do. He's got to be 5'4" in heels. Like literally this guy's so short. So he's making the whole concept is literally POV, fucking you ask a tall gym baddie for whatever. Somebody comments, and I didn't know who he was when I made this content. Somebody comments and was like, "Oh, blah 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 blah, you're short." And he goes, "Yeah, you've got a retarded child." And I literally was like, "Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm never making content with this man again." I didn't know who he was. So then, okay. And here's the thing that's so weird is he was with my friend Alex. They were together, and she said, "He's not like this." Last night I come across a video, and it's not the first video of this kind that he's made where he pretends to hit women in the gym. I was filled with so much fucking anger. He makes a video. Okay, this man has been stuck at 150,000 followers on Instagram for God knows how long.
I wonder
He's
why.
done really well for himself, like I think on TikTok and YouTube, whatever. So he makes this video. He's in the gym, my old gym. Okay, where, yeah,
They
yeah.
want to. Never mind.
No,
I'm gonna bite my
oh,
motherfucking tongue.
I'm about to go off. Okay, I'm about to go off. I went off on my close friend's story last night. I deleted it. I was like, you know what? I shouldn't broadcast how I feel. I'm about to. I'm about to. I'm about to. I'm about to right now. I said, here's the mic. Let me fucking tell a little story. So he makes a video. This guy comes up to him at the and he says, "What are you hitting today?" And he goes, "Women." And he turns around and fake punches this girl. I am so mad because here I am kicked out of the gym because I made a fucking reel saying this gym is a cesspool. What's wrong with the men at our gym? Factual. No lies were told. One. Two, I made people uncomfortable at the
You're not
gym.
going around hitting them.
Oh, I made people uncomfortable at the gym because I'm talking to a camera into the mic by myself, not bugging anyone, saying, "Oh, I'm wet. I have sensory issues. It's really, I'm wet and uncomfortable." The fact that men protect more abusive men, they get mad when a woman is being sexual without them, when a woman can be sexual without the fucking need for men. I literally was filled with so much fucking rage last night because I'm sitting here. I literally had to stop going to the best gym on the fucking planet because I made content. And here I am. And when all this shit was happening too, I reached out to probably 50 people at my gym individually online saying, "Hey, I just wanted to reach out." There was like, because there were some complaints that were made against me at the gym. And I was feeling so fucking bad. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I made men feel uncomfortable. This is horrible. Meanwhile, I actually didn't do anything fucking wrong. And then, but the people that are making content about hitting women, there are men at that gym who are actual fucking abusers and rapists, okay, that made other people feel uncomfortable and leave that gym, but they're being protected. I have tea, not gonna spread it on this fucking podcast. Whatever. I'm not gonna go there. But the fact that the gym owner is protecting these people who are like actual people who hurt women and making content. Imagine you need followers enough that you're willing to, and that's the thing, is his ex-girlfriend
Yes.
told me he's not actually like that. Why are you going to go online and create this weird little fake persona of Andrew Tate ideals, taking it to the next level and being like, "What are you hitting today? Women. Ha ha ha. This is so funny." No, it's fucking not. Like, how do you even think that that's hilarious?
Well, a couple of things, because I feel like, right, first off, Matt Rife did it on Netflix and it didn't go so well. So maybe you should sit down and find some original fucking content, for
Yeah.
firstly. But secondly, too, I think, like, unfortunately, right, like where we are in social media is so over fucking saturated and everyone wants to fucking do it. And I get it. Like, everyone thinks it's like you work from home and everything's so easy. But the reality of it is it's so oversaturated, especially the fitness realm, that at this point, they're just relying on pure shock value. Like, that's kind of the reality of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the thing too. Is like, if your content, first of all, you have access to analytics. I do not anymore. But here's the thing with content creation, okay? If your numbers are not doing well, that's when you need to sit back and evaluate, what am I doing wrong? What can I change? What can I improve? If you're making content that has the most insane shock value of all, where you're like, what are you hitting today? Oh, women,
Women.
punch. And your numbers have not moved in 6 months. You've gone up 1K in 6 months. Bestie baby girl, there's something that you need to change. Like, that's
Yes.
the thing with content. And it's funny because I think I've told you about at my gym, Ian Valier goes there. He's gone to the Olympia several times. He's now retired from bodybuilding. His wife is also like a content creator, ex bodybuilder, Melissa Bumstead, Chris Bumstead's sister. And they had a podcast yesterday, and they did a podcast. Her podcast is called Giver, and he was a guest on it. And they're talking about what's interesting about social media is like when you follow for somebody for such a long time, their content starts to like shift with them, because as a content creator, you need to change. You can't just post the same thing over and over again. And skits were a thing that were like super, super, super popular 10 years ago. And now people just kind of want to get to know you on a personal level. And I can't even imagine also how hard it would be to do skits, because people come up with those concepts and they like write them. Like when I filmed with this fucking loser ass bitch, he literally had like pages and pages of like things he wanted like written out that he had to do. And I'm thinking like, that seems really hard. Literally almost every video I post, unless it's like a voiceover, is me just like speaking.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It is a very oversaturated market. And you know how you're going to stand out?
Your brand, aka you.
Just being yourself, just being authentically yourself, not pretending that you fucking want to beat women for likes. Like, I don't, whatever.
Ah.
It's so funny.
Wow.
What's weird is like, if you want to beat women, that's who you are, you're fucked.
Look, you want to beat women, but as soon as I say I beat men, I'm the problem.
No. Yeah, but that's weird. Like, imagine being like not actually like that behind closed doors. I don't know what he's like behind closed doors, because here's the thing. He's the ex of my ex co-host.
Yep.
One of my best friends now.
Yep.
He's also the ex of my ex best friend's ex best friend.
The T.
So I know so much about this man from the exes. But whatever.
I feel like too, though, hear me the fuck out. And maybe this is fucking crazy of me.
No,
but I feel like
not.
if that's not how you are behind closed doors,
that's weird.
You would never fucking post it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know so many like men in like the fitness content world, like in my area and stuff. Yeah. And they would never in a million years do something like that and then be like, oh, it's just clickbait for clout.
Yeah, well, so my friend, she says that he was never like that with her. And they were not, I think that a lot of people in the beginning of relationships show the version of themselves that they perceive that you want them to be. And you don't really start beating your girlfriend until a few months in, No. You don't start off with beating her.
It's not like the first date this man held a screwdriver to my neck like, I'm going to kill you. He did it 9 months in when I had no way to escape.
I remember I went on, we're going to get derailed. Okay. All I know, I'm going to open the notes and then we got to fucking end this shit.
Yeah, I know.
No, it basically like the thing that I want to kind of leave on is after like getting into Drew's book, something that really, it kind of like solidified my choice to kind of like be single. And yes, I am on Raya, but I'm on Raya because I just want the tea. I literally was on there and I saw someone on there who was definitely in a relationship and I was like, that's interesting. But what I like, something that she basically wrote in her book, and this is not like exact word for word verbatim, but it's basically like, I would rather die single and happy than die with a partner and feeling lonely. Like the number of times I've been in a relationship that's been so abusive, and it's like the entire time I felt so lonely. And the one last thing I had to tick off my fucking list of how I can just survive in this world completely without men, very independently, is money. And now that I'm pussy popping, acid dropping on the internet, there's nothing a man can do for me that I can't do for myself, because guess what? Man has never made me come. The way that I made myself come the other day, and I literally stood up from the bed and I walked to the bathroom to clean myself up. I literally have a fucking blanket that is fucking, it's not even water resistant, it's waterproof, because the way I be fucking a cum queen, leaving fucking puddles, I literally get up to go to the bathroom, fucking wetness is dripping out of me down my leg. Miss Girl, it hit my fucking ankle. The way that a man could never, and that was not even from outside clitoral stimulation. That was from fucking entry to my own pussy with a fucking glass dildo. I did that all on my own. A man could never,
Period.
and that's period.
But I think that's the thing too, right? Is like kind of like reining it all in and bringing it full circle is like the way that you find friendships, relationships, interpersonal connections that are going to fit into your life is by letting go of the control of worrying about it. Like being 100% accepting who you are and what you
Yeah,
bring to the table, but then also accepting people for who they are. If they come and they go, cool, great.
yeah.
But you're more likely to find the people who are going to stay for longer periods by doing that rather than holding and harvesting onto connections that no longer fit your life.
Yep. And that's the thing too, is you can, and that's what happened with my ex-best friend. Is I told her, I'm like, lifestyles just don't align and that's okay. And she
Yep.
got so mad, and she was like, well, we both do fitness, we're both doing this, we're both doing that. And I'm like, okay, here's the key core differences. Okay. We both are very much into fitness. Yes, we sometimes weigh our food and track our protein, and we both want to achieve great things, but I've been sober for 11 years. You are still continuously being destructive in your own life. And when I thought that I'd be able to, I can have friends who drink,
I know.
but
I was honestly gonna say, like, I know, like sometimes, like I smoke around you, and I was like, is this gonna bother girly?
no,
Like,
it
is this
doesn't bug
okay?
me. But what I've learned in the past year is I can't be friends with an addict or an alcoholic. I can't watch
Yeah.
someone destroy their life. And it's like you said earlier in the episode too, where you were like, my friend left me because I was destroying my life. And it's hard to watch somebody that you love do that. You get to a point where you're like,
Yeah.
I can't watch you make shitty fucking decision after shitty fucking decision every single day.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of consistently will project this version of themselves that they think you want them to be, but you always see who they truly are down the line.
Yeah. Well, and I
And
think too, like on the other end, like we always want the person that like we care about to be something too. Like we can build a narrative for those people as well. And when they don't fit it, it really does suck.
yeah,
But there's some narratives that you build in your life for certain relationships that aren't necessarily a narrative, but they're a standard, right? Like basically not having friends who are in the ropes of addiction
yeah,
is one of your quote unquote narratives, but it's also a standard for you now. It's something that
yeah.
you expect, it's something that you need, and it's a non-negotiable, as we call it. It's not
Well,
something that you can
yeah,
willy-nilly, right? And I think addiction is very different from like recreational drug use, right?
yeah,
Like addiction versus like I have a glass of wine on Saturday nights with my steak. Like it's there's a line, right?
yeah,
And there's a control aspect to it. Like if you can have control and over your decisions, right? Like
yeah.
whether that's I'm choosing not to use or I'm choosing to prioritize other areas of my life and I'm choosing not to make destructive decisions versus I'm trying my fucking hardest. Things aren't going necessarily as planned, but I'm getting better, right?
Yeah, I think also like standards in relationships, platonic or romantic, are so important. And I
They
think
are.
that's where we need to fucking end things, because, men will be pissed off that women have standards, and standards are the reason why I'm still single, because I don't care. You want to fucking call me a vapid narcissist? I don't give a fuck. I genuinely think that 99% of men are not deserving of me, because I know what I bring to the table and I know what I add to life, and I'm
Yeah.
different than I have ever been in past relationships, and I know my value, and I don't care. I
Yeah.
literally don't care if I have to be single for the rest of my life, because I'm not willing to let some dusty, crusty, musty, fucking mid, ugly man destroy my life for nothing. It's
Yep.
just, I don't care. I literally don't care. I will be single forever. Don't give a flying fuck. I would rather be single and
Yep.
fucking die happy than I will be fucking in a partnership and lonely and just not having basic needs met. Like the way in which we literally, as women, especially who have been abused in all past relationships, will be like, oh my God, he texted me
No, literally.
on the morning of my birthday. So kind of him.
So wow, new standard met. But that's why too, like I think it's so important for like when you have had that experience with men to have really good friendships. Like I'm not even a cap to you. I don't think I would have been able to get out of this last relationship if
Mm-hmm.
I did not have like the influence of Caitlin and you.
Yeah.
Because both of you guys are so self like growth mindset.
Yeah.
And like I like when I explain to people like you have to let go of those past connections in order to meet connections that are actually aligned with you. I bring up you two the most because I'm like these people like are my people. Like
Yeah.
I would die for them. Like they know me more than I like know myself at this point. And I've got people in my life I've been friends with for 10, 12, 15
Yeah.
years and we aren't even on that level anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's like really cool to see like my friends lifting me up to a point where it's like, well, Caitlin and Alison treat me this way. So like
Mhm.
why the fuck would I ever accept below that?
No, because when you find a level of friendship that it literally makes everybody else look like shit.
Changes the world.
No,
It
okay.
changes the fucking world. And I think that's why it's so important to let some of those connections go because it makes room
For the
for
people
the
that are
new
meant
ones.
for you. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll end it there. I'm gonna fucking FaceTime you after this because I do. But one thing I do want to
Right.
say is I'm glad that we talked about because you do that sometimes too, where you reach out to me, and I think now that I'm realizing it, I I actually I was like, that's so interesting that you do that. And I'm realizing in this exact moment that I do that too, where I will reach out to people for validation when I'm really low. But I'm glad that I know that you do that because in the moments where you do that, I'll now know to call you. Because
Yeah.
there are
You can
times
always call
when
me bitch.
I have capacity. Like one of my clients, honestly, I love all of my clients. I'm pretty close to all of my clients, as you know.
Yeah.
But one of my clients, she was going through it, and I said to her, I'm like, listen, like, sometimes I've had to put boundaries down with clients, but I was like, listen, like, you're going through it. Would you like to talk? She's
Yeah.
BPD as well. I called her. Anyway, whatever. Let's fucking end this here. Let's end this here. Um, but that was, I think, episode 11. We definitely talked about friendship breakups, friendships with BPD, how fucking challenging it is being a woman in a fucking man's world, and how tiring that is.
And how much we love Drew.
And how much we love Drew. And we will meet her one day, and she will
Manifesting it
sign my
now.
fucking book. Maybe I'll get her to sign my Kindle. Who knows?
Yeah, could you
But
imagine if like they put us on their podcast as guests? I would cry. I would die of happiness.
honestly, if I could be on the comment section, but more than anything, one podcast that I want to be on more than anything is Tea Time. I love Gabby Lamb. I love Harper Rose Drummond. Those bitches. I
God bless them.
God bless them. And that's on that. But if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, if you could take 20 seconds, hit the fucking three dots at the top, scroll down, fucking give us a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast get out to more people. If you fucking got to the end of this and you're like, I hate this podcast, send it to somebody that you also hate in order to spite them.
Yes.
And we will see you next week. One thing that we do have coming up, because I was mentally ill and I did not edit the podcast for like a couple weeks. It do be like that. Is I don't know if it'll be the next podcast or a couple from now, but guess what? We're gonna have a guest for probably maybe 2 podcasts or maybe 1 podcast. The guest is my mom.
I'm so excited.
I know, I
I'm
literally
so
can't
fucking
wait.
excited. You have
No,
no
I
idea. You have
no,
no
she's
idea.
she's such a funny sister queen. I love her more than anything in this entire world. That's literally why I started content creation, because I'm gonna buy her a house.
Facts. And I love that.
We actually talked about it the other night. Anyway, I told her, I'm like, here's the thing: we need 5 bedrooms, one for guest, one for me, one an office for me, and then one for her, and then a paint studio for her. And then we need
Cute.
three bedroom or 3 bathrooms, one for me, one for the guest, one for her, 2 kitchens, one for me, one for her, 2 living rooms, one for me, one for her, one dining room for me. Fuck her, she doesn't get a dining room. She can have little bar stools in her kitchen. She can suck my fucking dick, bitch. All right.
I'm
All right.
so dead.
Anyway, thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.